we'll see what happens.
Any more questions? All the way in the back.
God, you're in better shape than my team. God, look at him. I thought Mark Rudner would be doing that. That would be good for Rudner.
Coach, you went from a traditional I formation team to a team last year that took advantage of Michael's athletic ability out of the shotgun, going back to now a quarterback that's a little bit more traditional as far as Penn State's concerned. How do you evaluate that as you guys get ready for this offense?
Well, you know, I think one of the good things about coaching, if you've got time, and particularly when you've got, you have a kid that you've had and so forth. We knew we had an outstanding athlete in Michael Robinson who could do some certain things, and I think the big thing we had to do was try to make sure we get the most out of his ability. Somebody said to me a long time ago, "What's the difference between checkers and chess?" And they kind of stymied me a little bit, and I said, I don't know what to do. I used to play chess when I was in college, but that was 100 years ago. And they said, well, you know, in checkers, everybody's got the same thing. Everybody on the board can jump somebody, not jump somebody. Chess, it's different. You know, there's a pawn and there's a king and there's all those other different people who are capable of different things. And somebody said to me, I wish I could tell you who the coach was that told me that. He said, just remember, everybody can do something different, and make sure you get them to do what they can do. Don't ask the pawn to do something the king can do, and so forth. So I think we did that last year with Michael. I think and fortunately we had a couple of kids that could go down and catch the football and spread out the defense, so they couldn't necessarily gang up on Mike all the time. So that he had an opportunity to do things he could do. And that's the way it goes. This year will be a little different football team. How much different will depend on a lot of things. Depend on a couple of kids we brought in, a couple of kids, how diligent some of the guys that we've had last year carry on. They weren't, all of a sudden people know who they are. They've studied their moves, how they get off the line of scrimmage. The coverage is going to change a little bit, and we have to anticipate some things. Whether we do it or not, that's what we're getting paid for. But we'll have different problems than we had last year. We always had Robinson to get us out of the run the option, run the quarterback draw, do something where his athletic ability would get us out of a jam. And we don't have it. We got a different kind of athlete. We have a true quarterback who has to be able to read coverages. He has to have some wideouts that are comfortable with each other, and we'll see what happens.
Over here in the far left.
Coach Paterno, I know this is kind of an annual question, but when we ask you how long you plan to coach, you always say you'll coach as long as you feel good. Is that still how you feel?
I feel really good. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, my leg started bothering me, my right leg, and found out I had some inflammation in my leg. We had a family reunion, and as a lot of you know, I've got 15 grandkids. None of them are 11 yet. And we had them all up, and we have a mountain in there you can climb, and I haven't climbed in 30 years. And my kids teased me into going up there for a family climb. And when I got up to the top, I was all right. When I came down, it was really tough. The old leg started to go on me, and so I had a little problem with the leg. So I figured I haven't had a physical in 8-10 years. I said I better go get a physical. So I went over, and we had a good physical. Well, and ladies wouldn't know what a prostate physical is, all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Over here in the middle, red shirt.
Well, but anyway, I had a great physical, and the doc says to me, "You coach 10 more years." So I came back to the staff meeting. I says, "You know what? The doc tells me I can coach 10 years. You never saw 9 guys put their head in." So I don't know. I feel great. I'm going to coach as long as I feel good about it. I'm excited about it. It's hard for me to put a date on that. It really is. I know I'm going to coach as long as I feel I can do a job, and I feel good about it, and I'm having fun. Anything else?
Coach, a lot of people are picking Ohio State to win it all, and part of the reason, I guess, is Troy Smith, who's a multi-purpose kind of guy who can run and pass. Do you see him as a similar sort of athlete, multi-purpose threat that Michael was last year?
Oh, no question about it. I think he's a great athlete. But there's a couple other kids around him, too, that ain't bad. That Ginn kid ain't bad. You know, I used to think I was a pretty good defensive back, and most of the guys we play, I get in the locker room and tell these guys, I can cover that guy. Don't give me, I don't want to cover Ginn. I mean, I think they've got some great football players. They've got a couple of guys on defense that are great players, and I think Jimmy's doing a great job recruiting in Ohio, getting good people. So I think that they probably deserve to be rated on them. I don't really look at it that way. If you ask me who should be 1, who should be 2, 3, 4, I wouldn't even vote on that stuff. But I think they're an awfully good football team, and I think the quarterback is an outstanding player. Against us, we played him early. He was just starting to get the feel of things because I think we played him third or fourth game. And, you know, I lost to Texas in the first game, lost to us, I think, in the fourth game up at our place. And after that, when I've been looking at them, I mean, he was just a tremendous, tremendous player and got better and better as the season went along. So, yeah, I think he's a great player. And for me to make a comparison between him and Michael Robinson, I wouldn't do that. I don't think it's fair. I've never done that with kids that have played for me. People will ask me who was the greatest player you ever coached, who was the greatest running back, who was the greatest defensive lineman. I don't like to do that because what you give to one, you take away from the other. So I've tried to get away from those kinds of comparisons. But I think Smith's a great football player.
That's all we have time for. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
If you think Smith's a good football player, he'll get a chance to see it up close and personal the 23rd of September. Penn State at Ohio State. 2 of their first 4 games on the road, tough ones at Notre Dame and at Ohio State. They're bringing back some people they didn't get a chance to talk about. Derek Williams, wide receiver, running back Tony Hunt, and their linebackers are strong too. Leslie, Shaw, and Connor. Linebacker U is strong, and you see the second half eases up a little bit. By the way, before we leave this topic, Joe Paterno, 775 head coaching changes in Division 1A since Joepa took over at Penn State in 1966. That's an average of more than 6 changes per school. Remarkable that he's still going strong. Here's what's coming up next. Iowa coach Kirk Ferentz is coming up in just a bit, and then we'll have Terry Hepner about 15 minutes after that. But we will be coming back, checking in with Iowa, a team that went